I wish that my dad was still here. I think he would have been really, really proud of me.
Powerful.
Teamwork.
Pioneer.
My brother is really big into hot rods, and I was, at that point, probably more interested in the lettering on the cars.
We have a bright future now, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah.
For Christmas, my parents got me a pinstriping brush.
Passion.
Determined.
Impactful.
What it was in Staten Island. It was at a sign shop called Island Signs. I don't know that I'm here without Bert.
He wasn't the only one who answered the ad, but he was the most enthusiastic.
Actually, the university hired me to paint all the signs for every single student event. But then I was also studying things about advertising.
It's building a team and building something bigger than me.
And then when I graduated, I found a job in New York City, and I would take the train and I would read sign craft on the way into work, and I would look at this work and I'd be like, why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing this? No one in my family had ever started a business.
The first house that we started the business in, they like renovated the basement from nothing.
When I met him, I went to his home. Like, he was in his basement. As an immigrant, when you come to this country, the way you assimilate is you don't join the country club, you start a small business. I love not only what it did for me, but what it did for my parents' business.
The Washington police all got their vehicles wrapped in our garage. That was like something, as a kid, I remember being like, all right, like how many police cars are coming this weekend? And something exciting's happening.
There wasn't a roadmap for me to follow. There wasn't another company doing what we're doing.
That sort of attitude about like taking risks and doing something that you're passionate about, even if it's not the smart thing to be doing, like that's really inspiring to me.
I'm really proud of that guy. I'm proud of him for the steps that he's taken.
You know, Bert, just what he taught me over the years is still evident in the work that we do today at KickCharge.
The size of the graphics or lettering that's on these vehicles, that really stands out. I always had a passion for that.
If you have a dull brand, it's like having a dull knife. Imagine hiring a real artist to make your brand beautiful. It's one of the best decisions I ever made for my business.
Eventually, I got really, really busy. One of our first employees, which is Jeff Devey.
You know, I'm a brand designer. I design branding for small businesses. We didn't have like Google Meets or any of that stuff. There was just AOL Instant Messenger.
Who's an amazing illustrator, and that's why I hired him, because I'm not a good illustrator at all.
I get to draw a lot of characters and cool custom lettering. Just, it's really fun.
I still can't draw. You know, I suck at drawing.
Like I keep mentioning Jeff just specifically because like some of the work that he was doing was like little me was like, oh my God, just like star eyes. Like I was just like, this guy's a literal god.
I got connected with Dan to try to ask him questions about how to build my dad's website. And then he just asked me what I was doing for work and asked to see some of my portfolio pieces. And basically he hired me, and my dad never got a website.
Obviously without him, like we would not be where we were today. Like he's such a key role, and he's like so shy about it, so he won't talk about it, but like he was.
One of those early companies was Timo's Heating and Air, and Joey Timo.
You know, he said, I'm imagining a mascot 6-7 feet tall on the side of the van, bottom of his toes to the top of his hat, covering the whole side. This was in the first conversation. Wow. And I was like, this guy's crazy. We need to hire him.
That wound up getting a bunch of publicity. It got featured in some magazines. It won that Tops and Trucks contest very early on.
That was one of the first ones, I think, that really stuck as far as like the home services industry.
I think we had maybe 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 employees, including some people in the office. Fast forward now, after the rebranding, after all the work Dan and KickCharge has done for us, we have about 60 employees and about 40 trucks on the road. The joy that I saw him get in watching us grow was really special to me, because it was almost like our business was his.
We realized at that point, hey, we really need to get an office, because we had to hire a bunch more people.
Who's there? Oh. He's crashing my interview. I was born the year that he graduated from college, so he doesn't love that.
Yeah.
But
I remember feeling very comfortable and like at ease right away.
I looked at the company website, I looked at the team pages, I looked at the work that they provided and did for their clients, and I was like, I have to work here.
And even now that we're a larger team, we still manage to have a culture that feels small.
I don't know where to begin. to talk about Terry.
During the course of the interview, he brought in an employee, his name's Danny Albeck, and he told a story about how when his grandfather passed away, and the funeral was like several hours away, and he was standing there, you know, people are going through the line in the wake, and he looked up and there was Dan. I literally got chills. It was like, oh my gosh, a place where you're cared about and you can be your best self and you get to do work you're proud of.
Where we are today doesn't happen without her contributions over the last decade and especially over the last 40 years.
What he has done for me, the opportunities that he has provided to me, there's no words.
The opportunities that Dan and Terry and everyone here have given me have been like insane.
I feel like when I come here, I am working with people who really do have my back.
KickCharge is really a ragtag bunch of kids with a dream. And that's the energy that was in that office.
I think we squeezed in almost 16 people into 1,500 square feet.
They would play games after hours. Dan had this like 30-inch monitor, right? And you could hear the guys on the other side screaming and he's like, yeah, gotcha.
It was a very tight-knit, young, fun office, but also very focused.
And then the next one that I would say was probably even more significant was when we did the branding for Gettle.
If I had known then what Gettle would be now, I think there could have been probably maybe a greater reverence to it. It also maybe could have bit us in the ass.
And so Jeff and I, again, we tag teamed that particular brand. I did some work on the lettering. Jeff did primarily the work on the illustration of the boy holding the flashlight.
You know, sometimes when you know something's destined for that level of greatness, it can almost inhibit your ability to do really good work.
That was something that was really obviously useful for us because then people said, oh my God, you guys did Gettle?
Wait, you're the company that did Gettle?
It kind of be like saying if you had done the brand for Coke and you were in the soda business.
You could just feel like a buzz in the office about like, we're just scratching the surface.
But at that point, we were still under our old name, which was Graphic Designs. For many, many years, I knew that I needed to change the name of the company. I knew that it didn't represent what we had evolved into.
We were ready for change because a lot of people thought that all we did were like actual physical signs.
For me on the phone, you know, it was like, and that's Terry, Terri at graphicd-signs.com. Again, that's Terry.
We focused so much on everybody else's brands and we built up their brands like crazy and we forgot to evolve ourselves.
We started thinking about new names probably in 2015 or 2016 when we knew we were gonna be moving into here. So it's like, I'm not gonna move into here under that old name.
We brainstormed, I want to say like hundreds of different ideas.
And then KickCharge just came to me and I just thought to myself, that's like a cool name. Like that sounds like what we do. Like we give energy to companies, we power them with brands.
I will never forget the day Dan called me to tell me that he finally had picked the name. He was on his bike and I thought he was having a heart attack because he was like, oh, I gotta tell you something, I picked the name.
I think in the beginning we were like, what even is that? But now we're like, yep, that was it.
But I do remember, you know, coming up with a few of the sketches for the new logo.
I was at school and I remember my dad sending me some of the in-progress logos.
I look at it today and I still think it's a solid design and like I can't picture KickCharge looking any other way at this point.
It was really valuable for that to happen for everyone involved, I think, because we now firsthand understand what it's like to let go. At that point, we were like, wow, we really understand what our customers are going through now.
I remember when they poured the concrete for this building, I had the team come out here and we all put our hands in the wet cement because I was like, these are the people that help build the foundation of this building and this company.
I never met Dan in my interview, which was actually really funny. I never met Dan until my first day.
It felt like the only place where, other than working for myself, there was a really natural fit.
Well, having been self-employed for probably 15 years plus, I was really hesitant to take a full-time job.
At the time, I sat at the desk outside of Terry's office, and I remember Dan coming over and saying, oh, it's nice to meet you. I've heard great things. And I was like, very scared because it was Dan and he was the owner. Now, not so scared.
It's crazy because like I was aware of Dan and of like graphic designs from, I think I was like 12 years old because my parents were in a similar industry in the signage.
It's just been awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better place to work and a better group of people to work with for sure.
And Dan used to write these articles for Signcraft and Signs of the Times and things like that. So I was reading his content from the point when I was really young.
No matter what, like they have time and time again shown how much they care about me, they care about my family, they want me to be there for them.
Not just me, but my entire family, my wife and I both are super appreciative of the way this company has treated us so well.
I think everyone here is excited to do what they do.
So in thinking about other really influential people on the journey, I became aware of Tommy Mello.
It was the very first time we were at a Moving Titans event. And I was sitting there talking to these two guys. My phone's on the table. And they had absolutely zero interest in continuing this conversation until the guy goes, Tommy Mello just called you.
One of his mentors is a guy named Al Levy.
I called Dan up. Al Levy referred me to Dan at KickCharge.
He said to Tommy, your truck wraps look really bad. Like, they look awful.
So the power that he has within that community, it simply cannot be overstated.
You could sort of forecast what was happening, that like if you kill it with this particular brand, this would be a huge opportunity for KickCharge.
When we rebranded, every one of my technicians and installers called me over the next 6 months and said, oh my gosh.
I think what really has made Tommy so unique is it's his sincere desire to help others.
My employees' lives are better now. They're making more money, we're happier.
But Tommy opened up a lot of doors for us, and it's been an amazing experience working with him.
Dan, KickCharge, Gina, Terry, the whole team over there, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for A1, myself, and my family.
You think about the clients and you think about the responsibility that we're tasked with.
We have seen such a difference, not just in our appearance, what it's done on the outside, but what it's done on the inside of us.
You're essentially playing with someone's livelihood.
KickCharge has given me something that I never thought I would have had, a sense of fulfillment. It's provided me a sense of love. It's provided me a sense of passion.
How will this affect their business, their lives, their families, their employees?
Yes, we've grown personally, but also I think what we've done for our team personally they've grown a lot together.
It absolutely is changed our lives.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that will say, just give them what they ask for and cash the check and move on with your life. That has never been our mindset.
It's not just changed my life, it has changed the life for the many people we've been able to add, giving them opportunity they never thought possible.
And our team has really bought into what we're doing and where we're going.
Everyone in my office, from every employee, we owe a debt of gratitude to the hard work of the KickCharge team.
You know, when I think about the team that we have here today,
the people here is what makes KickCharge KickCharge.
You know, there's a lot of super talented people on this team.
Our people are the best. Like the team is the best.
These people are so welcoming, they're so friendly, they're so loving.
This team is something that I really value.
Everyone here genuinely cares about each other.
I really love the people here.
I don't think there is a better team that exists, and they prove it every day to me.
Pizza Thursday and coffee day.
The Friday polls.
The Colors KickCharge days and things like that have been awesome.
The vibes are just so fun and creative.
Without them, you know, I'm still a schmuck in my basement.
He's shown me so many times that he believes in me.
Thank you for all the trust.
Thank you so much for building something that we could all be a part of.
I can't imagine my life without him.
The big brother I never had.
I'm really fortunate to be surrounded by such amazing people.
What is one piece of advice that you would give Dan today?
I'll have two. One of them would be, don't change from its mission. And ironically, number two would be, know when to quit. You got to slow down, because he's done a lot, and he needs to step away from it.